the Avid Knits podcast. My name is Sarah, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry, both as Avid Knits. Today is Thursday, September 9th. It is 90 and sunny here in Houston, Texas, and it has been 4.5 months since my last podcast. So hi, how is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well and that you had a little bit of relaxation over summer with, in the confines of the pandemic here. Delta is very much on the rise here in Houston. My nieces are back in school. We are still homeschooling. But that does mean that because they're back in school and Delta's on the rise, that we're not seeing a lot of family, which is a little weird after the summer. But that's okay. But yeah, hi, how are you? Yeah. So if you're new here, hi, welcome. This episode might be a little bit weird. I'm super out of practice, and it might not be very polished, and it's never polished anyway. Who am I kidding? But this episode might not be super reflective of my podcast style, if I have one of those. So please feel free to go back a couple of episodes if you would like to. I'm going to catch up on a couple of projects that I finished over the summer and haven't had a chance to show here. We're just going to kind of have a general life catch up. I am going to put out at the top of the episode, especially if you are new, that we do not shy away from politics and or social issues. There we go. There's a word. This is definitely not going to be a podcast that beats that down into your head. It is definitely a knitting podcast, but I also feel that it would be very disingenuous to live in the world that we live in and pretend it's not happening. On that note, I would like to really reach out and let any of you who are struggling so hard right now to let you know that I am definitely holding space for you. I think that for me, the first year of the pandemic was relatively chill as far as like mental health went. But I find that especially once the vaccines were rolled out and there was so much misinformation and pushback and so many unnecessary deaths and the toll still rising, I think that as that has happened and as my state has, in its infinite wisdom, decided to push all sorts of unnecessary and ridiculous legislation. If you're not from Texas, you can get on Google and you can Google SB 8 and learn about our new 6-week abortion ban and the bounty hunter system that comes along with it. It's fantastic. And you can also Google SB 1, in which we basically ripped away voting rights for communities of color and low income. It's fantastic. We're a great place to live. So adding in that and what's going on in Afghanistan, being a prior service soldier, it's been really rough. I feel like it's just been, the last couple of months have been really heavy for me. So if you're struggling super hard right now, you're not alone. As always, in the description box below, there will be links to the things that I talk about, whether they be knitting or whether they be political, and there will also be links in where you can find more information to educate yourself, and links in which to donate and use your voice so that we can affect common sense change. Cheers. I've actually recorded the intro to this podcast 4 times and I can't get past this time without ranting or crying. So I'm obviously a little overdone. I'm a little overwhelmed and worn out, and I think that's pretty par for the course for all of us right now, unfortunately. So, yeah. But I haven't talked to you guys in a really long time, and I wanted to check in and say hi. I haven't watched podcasts in over 6 months, and I finally started it again last week, and it's just really wonderful to be able to come in and out of this community of not just knitters, but podcasters as well, and to be able to catch up with each other, or, especially when you're feeling really disheartened. It's really, for me, very helpful to turn on a podcast and be reminded that, you know what, you might not live next door to me, but I'm not the only one who thought it. You know, sometimes that's just really helpful. So before I get emotional again, we're going to go ahead and get into the knitting. I have 2 finished objects that I have been working on over the summer, and one that I have already sent off. I talked about it in my last podcast in April. It has been done for ages and has been gone, but I will post a picture of it here, or here-ish. And this is the Hide and Peak sweater by Maxim, otherwise known as Max the Knitter on Instagram. I knit the size 48-inch chest. All of the yarn is the Farmer's Daughter Fibres in her Recollect base, which is, I believe, 100% Rambouillet. It is a sport to DK weight. The colors I used for the main color, I used Pine Drop. The tannish gold is Eagle Eye. The bright orange is Porch Pumpkin, and the green in the yoke is called Kinnikinnick. It was a great sweater. It was a lot of fun. My only about it is that the neckline I thought was way too big, and Candace said that too. I knit it for Candace of Farmer's Daughter Fibres. I believe her husband hasn't, which I think is fantastic. But she did say that the neckline was too big. But I did tell her that I actually provisionally cast on the neck. I really like a tubular cast off. My tubular cast on is not very neat. It's not very good. My 2x2 one is better, but my 1x1 in particular it's just sloppy. I have a really hard time with it. So I cast on provisionally for the neck, and then I knit the collar back up so I could bind off in tubular, because it's way easier for me. So I just told her to rip the collar out, and that way she could bring it back in. And so I don't know if she's done that, but it'll be an easy fix. So if you, excuse me, hiccups today. If you choose to knit the sweater, that might be something to keep in mind. But like I said, I did knit the 48, and I do find that sometimes with sweater grading, you end up with the bigger neck hole as you go. Which I don't know, I feel like there's a limit to how big the human head gets to a certain extent. So like, I don't know that you need like this giant hole to, but okay. I understand it's to make sure that the pocket of your shoulder fits on your shoulder, but at the same time, if you have a wider distance between here and here, I don't understand why that means that you should have less coverage of your neckline just to get your shoulders to fit. Like, create more of this part, you know, the upper yoke. I feel like that just should be no more normalized in those larger sizes in particular. So yeah, my next finished object that I did is a Breeze Racerback by Jessie May Martinson. This is Jessie Maed Designs, and it is a fingering weight garment. I think I knitted on 6s or 7s, so it's really loose gauge. I know that I knit probably 6s for the body, and then I think 5 or 4 for the top. You go down one size for the top to give yourself a little more coverage and structure, and to keep the bottom really flowy. Modifications that I made or would do if I made another one, I shortened the back and the straps because mine came, the v-neck came to like the front of like where your bra comes together if you wear one, where that comes together at the very, very front, and that was way too deep for me. I didn't want all of that, and it also meant that my armholes like went way below my bra strap. If you are a smaller chested person and you can, my only concern would be how much, and you can get away with wearing a top without a bra. It's a fantastic pattern. I would just advise you be a little careful with your armholes if you're uncomfortable with the idea of like side boob or people seeing like through you that way. If that makes you uncomfortable, be a little considerate about that. You could just, I guess, kind of change how this is structured. It's very, very open. Anyway, I knit it in Amanda Hope yarn in her extra fine Aussie fingering, maybe, in the colorway Fossil. It was actually a couple of skeins that I got for working a booth for her in Houston Fiber Fest 2018. I don't even remember. I don't remember. A couple of years ago. Anyway, I've had it in my stash and I've always wanted to use it and I just didn't know what to do with it. So anyway, I took out a couple inches up here. Like I knit it to pattern and I didn't like it, so I cut out a couple inches just so that I could bring it up a little bit. And it is cute and I really do like it. And I have discovered to work out a way in my wardrobe to have not a strapless bra. If anybody here has ever had to wear a strapless bra, you know that they are, hands down, probably the most uncomfortable invention ever created. Can we just go back to corsets, please? I'm asking nicely. But a bra that offers convertible straps or something, I need to invest in one of those for some of my tank tops because it just would look cleaner, I think. I really liked the pattern. I really recommend it. Jessie May has great designs. She's a wonderful designer. So. My second finished object, I actually finished like 2 days ago, and I'm dying to wear it. And oddly for me, I think I might take some of the body out. Normally I like my sweaters longer, but I think I might have overdone it with this one. This is the Laurel Jumper by, I will put her name here. I don't know her name. Her Instagram handle is along avec Anna with periods in between. All of her information will be linked down below. I knit this in some deep stash Hedgehog Fibres sock in the Graphite colorway, and then my contrast color is also very deep stash. It is Life in the Long Grass on her fine sock, and that is called Antique, and is absolutely gorgeous, and I love it very much. And it fits well. It fits. The neck is a little more scoopy than what I was really going for, but that's just a product of the yarn. The sweater is all over Colorwork, so it's a little bit heavy. Not super heavy, but it has a little bit of a pull on it. So I think what I'm going to end up doing now that I've tried it on is I actually think I might cut it to here and then put the ribbing back on and just cut off that chunk. And hopefully that will take out just a little bit of the weight and maybe it'll sit a little bit better. It has a lack of structure up top that I wasn't really expecting, but obviously I am using a very different yarn than what was suggested in the pattern. It calls for spin cycle. I have some. I purchased some for this sweater, and for anybody who is not aware of spin cycle and how that works, spin cycle is dyed in the wool, which means the fluff is dyed, and then it is spun and plied together. So you have colors in your wool, but how they are spun into your yarn is anyone's guess. They're very long gradients, which is fantastic. But that also means that because they're only 50-gram skeins, you're definitely at risk of having one skein that's super dark, and then the next skein might be all the bright colors together. And so you have to be kind of careful about what you pick. You can, on almost every website that carries spin cycle, or any shop that carries spin cycle, you can tell them what colors you're looking for, or you can call them and they will take photos of what they have. It is not a yarn that I recommend. That's not the right phrase. That's not what I'm looking for. It is a yarn that I would caution against just purchasing blind offline and expecting to get the picture of what you saw. I think that is a really, really hard thing to do with spin cycle. My personal opinion. For instance, I'm trying to think what bag it's in so I can show it to you. No, that's not it at all. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know where it is. Anyway, I purchased, this is not it. I don't even know why I'm looking. The colorway I purchased was supposed to be, I purchased Ghost Ranch, and everything that I had ever seen of it was very autumnal. Lots of warm autumn tones, a lot of brick reds, some oranges, a couple of greens, like really, really deep. And then the skeins that I got look like spring Easter egg pastel or bright pinks and yellows and sky blues, and that's fine. It is absolutely not my color combo. I will post a picture of it here. If you think it might be your color combo, it is for sale. And we will work out a price that is, I will totally de-stash that to you at a decent discount. Speaking of de-stashes, in the link, in the comment description, the thing in the box below, there's going to be a link to my Instagram account with my de-stash info. I still have quite a bit of indie dyed yarn that I'm just not going to use. And I actually was thinking the other day that I might de-stash another couple of sweater quantities. So the problem with this is because I sample knit, and for a couple of my commissions, I trade yarn, which is fine when you're knitting. But I haven't been lately, and my tastes are changing a lot. And let's all be upfront about it. Like I had the beauty school crop top from Poison Girls that I was working on. It was gray. It's in Sandus Garn. I ripped that out last night. I just had one sleeve left, and I just haven't bothered finishing it. And I put it on last night, and I have to honestly tell you that either I have gained a lot of weight without noticing, or that top was shrunk by the elves, or I don't know, but I do not remember it being that skin tight when I knit it. I knew it was snug, but I don't remember it being quite that skin tight. And that's fine, but I'm not going to finish it. Why would I finish something that makes me feel bad or that doesn't fit me the way that I want it to feel, you know? So I'm not going to finish that. I'm also not going to panic, because it's been a hard year and a half. And I talk about personal info later, but I had a surgery, and we're in the mountain biking, we're trying to get out or whatever, but it's really hard with pandemic when you have a little who is not vaccinated. Delta's really scary. It's really scary, you guys. Oh my God. Please be safe. So, I'm not going to be hard about it. It's fine. It'll come and go. I know, I'm sure that the majority of you who have hormone fluctuations can attest that it's just up and down, and it's just a number, you guys. As long as you feel good, who cares? So there's that. I also cast on last night a pink velvet, but I don't like mohair. And I don't like Surrey, because I live in a very, very humid climate, and I don't need fuzzies because everything sticks to you anyway. I don't need help with that. But I love that sweater. So I cast it on, and I am using House Wren from Sweet Sparrow yarn, which is her tweed base. The colors are Espresso and Rose Caramel, and they're beautiful. I made it through about a quarter of the way through the color work chart last night. Her tweed base is a bit, I don't want to say stretchy, but bouncy isn't the word either. It's not that it's thick, it's that it's a little slicker maybe than the last couple of yarns that I have used for color work. And so my tension was just a little bit weird at the very top of the neck, because the pink velvet goes into the color work very quickly. So you don't really have a lot to hang on to when you're knitting. So as I got going, obviously my floats got a lot better, but I was afraid that the very tops wouldn't block out and they would stay kind of puckered, and I didn't want that. And then as I was going through and ripping that out at 2 o'clock this morning on the phone with a girlfriend, I was looking at my yarn stash, and I have a color combo that I might swap out. This is terrible, because I talked to Julie, and Julie's the one that helped me pick out the pattern for this yarn. But if we're all being honest, Julie won't be surprised. She won't be surprised at all. So I think I'm going to rip that out. I am also going to embrace the fact that I like a dark sweater. I love a dark sweater. This right here is an absolute reminiscent. This is me all day long. And I don't know why I knit with anything other than black. I don't wear anything other than black. I don't know why I knit with anything other than black. So I think I need to reevaluate some of my sweater quantities and some of the stash that I have. And definitely the style of sweater that I've been knitting. I don't tend to knit a lot of really trendy things, like whatever's trending on Ravelry is usually not what's on my needles. But I do sometimes tend to pick the sweater that I want to knit, but then find out that I don't really wear it. I have 2 short sleeve t-shirts in peach yarn that are absolutely gorgeous. I just don't wear them. And I haven't worn this tank top yet this summer. It's been done for a little while. I altered the straps on it here very recently. But I'm going to kind of see how the rest of the summer and the early fall transition goes for us. We don't get fall really in Houston until like November. It's super late here. So I'm going to see how the transitions go and if I can force those into my wardrobe and see what happens. But I might just kind of give up on that, and then those might go into a de-stash too. So anybody who likes garment de-stashes, keep your eyes open. Which is actually the reason I started sample knitting in the first place. Is why I do commission knitting. Is I always want to make all the things, but I'm a really simple person when it comes to getting dressed. And I don't like a lot of fuss, and I don't like a lot of fanfare, and I'm a 1 or 2 layer kind of person unless like there's snow on the ground, in which case we'll grab a jacket. But my under layers, I will have the tank top and that's it. Like there's a tank top and then a long sleeve layer. And if I need anything more than that, I mean, it's either, I don't know, a tank top or a t-shirt under a hoodie, or if we pulled out the jacket, I mean, that's a thing, you know what I mean? But I don't do a lot of scarves, cowls, mittens, shawls. I don't wear shawls. I'm just a very simplistic person when it comes to my wardrobe. And I think it's just about time that I gave up on the idea that I'm going to be anything else. So, yeah, those are all of my finished objects and my work in progress. I have some socks. They're the same socks I've had. I think I've put 2 rows on these things. Like, I'm just not knitting. I don't know what I am. This is Nomadic Yarns, by the way. And This is the New Year by Nomadic Yarns. Yes, okay. Anyway, it's called This is the New Year. I don't know what I am doing. Yes, I do. I'm playing video games. That's what I'm doing. Knitting is a functional form of escapism for me. I can hear it in a conversation. I can watch TV with you. I can knit, and I feel good about the process. But when knitting's not working for me, I'm a video gamer. I like something with an involved story. I want to not be here for a little bit. And I find that video games have not all of them, but some video games, especially my favorites that I come back to all the time, they have a pacing that doesn't stress out my anxiety. I don't do horror because I don't do jump scares. I have enough anxiety issues in my life. Thank you so very much. But I find like even with books, I'm a very fast reader, but I also get to a point where, especially like during a buildup of a good scene, I get stressed out. Like I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know where to put my emotions for that moment. And when I'm really raw, or I'm really overdone and overwhelmed and burnt out, those things don't work for me. So I turn to video gaming because it's way slower than a movie. Storylines are typically really predictable. I like really big storylines, so like I like Final Fantasy, which is absolutely not anything to do. You have similar themes or topics maybe that are brought up, but they're done in such a way that's so fantastical that you don't have to put that in your head together, you know what I mean? You don't have to draw that conclusion. I do not play war games. I do not play realistic war games at all, any way, shape, or form. I think the most war game, I have like 2 first-person shooters that I actually enjoy, and they're science fiction. And they're not aliens coming to maul us science fiction. If you're a video gamer and any of that sounds good, the Mass Effect trilogy ends, and the 4th one, everybody will tell me I'm wrong, but Mass Effect is a great series for that kind of a thing. Like I said, I really like Final Fantasy. The new Final Fantasy VII is very good. For those of you who like Animal Crossing, I don't get you. And here's why. Animal Crossing to me is like Farmville. You do these things and you complete these tasks, and then the next day there's just more tasks and more things, and those are fun for a little bit, but then I need a purpose. I need a story, and I found it. If you are into cozy video games or management video games of that nature, and you are looking for something that will, I don't know, I don't want to be dramatic and say heal you without you knowing it, but game Spiritfarer was released, and it is about, you are a young person who has become the person who ferries lost souls across to their final rest. And the game is beautifully animated. It has a sheep shearing animation that's just adorable. Everything is it's really fun. It's well paced. There isn't there's not an obnoxious soundtrack. It's just kind of really soothing music. And you meet different souls along your journey that had ties to the main character. And these souls are all trying to find closure before they move on. And I have to tell you, it is one of the most, I don't know, it's just magical. It's an absolutely wonderful game. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I have nothing but good things to say about Spiritfarer so far. I'm about halfway through it. It has enough of a story that you move yourself on and you get to know your characters, but it's not enough that it bogs you into this massive thing. You have a world you can explore, and you have a ship, and you build your ship into like your little self-sustaining village, I guess. Anyway, it's so much fun. I hope that some of you will check it out. If you're in need of a, I don't know, break. That's kind of how I see it. Anyway, but I mean, other than that, like, I don't watch TV really. So I know that Loki is out. I know that I haven't finished the last episode of WandaVision because I don't want to cry. I haven't watched Loki. I'm waiting for more of that to come out. We did Mandalorian because my son's obsessed with Star Wars right now. But like I said, fantastical. I don't like anything that has to, the realism for me is it's really hard. It's too hard. It's way too hard. So for me, those are really, really good escapes. I know everybody is losing their minds over A Court of Thorn and Roses still and again. I haven't read it. I've read the sample of the first book and it doesn't capture me. And that's through no fault of anybody's. I'll eventually pick it up someday, I'm sure, and see if I can get through it. So yeah, if you've read it and you think it's amazing, by all means, feel free to try to convince me. Let's see. That's pretty much it, you guys. Hector turned 10 at the end of August. We had a Star Wars costume party. It was right before school went back in. It was our last hurrah with the cousins and the whole family. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time. We took a sibling trip. We took our annual sibling trip up to Bentonville, Arkansas. We got an Airbnb from an owner who had really great reviews and had a lot of COVID cautionary stuff that he was taking care of with his rental. We obviously took our own cleaning supplies and we cleaned out it was just a small Airbnb. We were there for like 3 days. We ate in and literally had no contact with anybody. But Bentonville, Arkansas is the home office of Walmart. And Walmart and the Walton family have dumped money into this town and have made it basically the mountain biking mecca of the United States. You can mountain bike anywhere in town. You can mountain bike from Bentonville to an hour south to Fort Smith to the lake. You are 10 minutes from Fayetteville, which is where the University of Arkansas Razorbacks are. I don't know what their class got. There was nobody there when we were there. We were on the trails for 3 days. I think we passed 4 people and none of them were passing us. They were on different sections of the trail. We had one restaurant excursion, and it was the morning that we were leaving. We went to a first watch in Bentonville because it looked pretty empty, and we walked in and there were literally 2 tables. There were 2 other tables that were there, and the waitress, everybody was masked and gloved, and the waitress had her little bottle. You know, there was a staff with the little bottle of spray, and so we felt pretty safe doing that. We did that, and we had no other contact with anybody. And I have to admit to you, it was really nice. I love Houston. It's a big city. There's not a lot of outdoors opportunity for the things that we like to do. And it's a large city that is run, we like to say it runs on the hustle. It hustles a lot. And you know, the rat race just gets tiring after a while, and heaven forbid that you have some time off and have the ability to look around you and say, huh, is this what I'm doing with my life? Because yeah, that was not a great realization. Which we've known, like, we're definitely not stupid by any stretch of the imagination, but when you grow up poor, the way we have, and I'm not talking like, oh, you couldn't afford, you know, the new PS3. I'm talking like we couldn't afford light and food. I think that there's a piece of you that it believes that if you stop hustling for 1 minute, that everything you've built, you're going to lose. You know, and so I told my husband the other day, I was like, you need to, congratulations, man. You made it. You're safe. Like, look around. You did it. Like, it's okay now, you know, and it's just something that's so hard to teach your brain that, like, okay, like, I'm good. I can balance having a little fun versus I can pay my bills. My kid is fine. Like, everything's okay now. I don't need to worry. Like, I'm not going to lose this tomorrow. Like, this is fine. And now I can start to live my life a little bit, you know, like, you can't forget to do that. So we're kind of in that space right now. I'm contemplating a move, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, something's got to give, you know. See what else we can find, right? So anyway, I'll keep you posted on that. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I would love to know what you guys have been up to for the last 4 months that I haven't seen you and haven't talked to you. And I hope that everybody is doing well and is safe. Like I said, I picked up my podcast a couple of days ago, and, you know, I saw Peggy on Through the Back Loop, and that was wonderful to see her face. She hasn't podcasted in a while. Ellie of Skeindeer hasn't podcasted since like May. She's back. That was really cool. I feel like, you know, coming back and watching a few of these people, like, oh, I wasn't the only one that took some time off, you know, and I feel like there are a few of us that are a lot better for it, you know, that we've had a little bit of time. Christina from Gussets and Go Days is back. You know, she's been doing okay, but she had a baby a few months ago, and so she's back now. Tommy of, it's not Squirrel Pie Productions anymore, Moonstone Dyeworks. I don't remember what her podcast channel is called. It's Moonstone something. Moonstone Makes, maybe? So she's doing, she had a new baby, and lots of life changes have been happening for a lot of people. You guys know I talk about my bestie, you know, Julie of Sweet Sparrow. She's got a wonderful podcast. Hers is very soothing. If you're into that, you need some quiet space to sit. Somebody else who's awesome at offering you quiet space and a place to breathe is Marce of Hey Brownberry. Maria of Ninja Chickens is wonderful. Katie Green of the Green Bean Podcast takes you on a walk across Dartmoor every time you go to an episode, every time you go to have coffee in her house. Somebody who always makes me feel like I just got a big giant hug is Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel. Let's see, who else do I really like? If you just need that friend who's going to prattle on about stuff and let you feel like you sat down in her living room and, you know, everything's good. Knitting Annihilator is good. Caleisha, who is Nadira Tani on Instagram. She has the Quirky Monday Craftcast. She's wonderful. Hannah of the Corner of Craft in the UK. She's great. yeah, so it just depends what you're looking for in your podcast, I guess. Tell me some of your favorites. I'm not trying to say I'm running out, but I'm running out. I only have like 22 that I want. Yeah, I think those are all the people that I've caught up with lately. So anyway, on that cheery note, I'm going to let you guys go, I guess. I don't know. How do you close these things out? I forget. So yeah. Drink water, wear your sunscreen, eat your vegetables, go for a walk. I know everybody, exercise and eat right, and it really works, and it's really annoying. So I know nobody wants to hear it. I know nobody likes to do it, but it really does work. And I'm gonna go take myself out. Me and my kid are gonna take us for a bike ride. And I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know everybody's like, oh my god, 90, but like it's been 99 and 96 with a 10-degree heat index for the last like 3 weeks. So 90, there's a bit of a breeze. This is like, I saw a tree changing this morning on my way to lunch with my husband. I can pretend, right? I just close my eyes. Put in like earbuds and listen to like ambient fall music, right? Like I can pretend. Anyway, I am gonna go ahead and let you go. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for stopping by.